Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into some seriously fascinating discoveries that might just change the way you see your favorite morning drink. That's right, lattes. From surprising health benefits to innovative scientific breakthroughs, I've gathered the top 10 most intriguing details from recent latte-related studies. Whether you're a casual coffee drinker or a latte enthusiast, these findings are sure to blow your mind. So, grab your cup of coffee, sit back, and let's get into it. Scientists can be a strange bunch of people. Some scour for answers to some of the great mysteries of the universe or work towards cutting-edge technological breakthroughs. Others give cannabis to traumatized elephants and fit cuttlefish with 3D glasses. Scientists are responsible for all manner of bizarre, off-the-wall discoveries. In recent months, researchers have, for example, created iridescent chocolate, built an artificial sun, and studied the effects of mixing Coke and Mentos on top of a mountain. Here are 10 of the weirdest discoveries. A levitating boat floats upside down. Scientists in France have achieved a remarkable feat of science, getting a toy boat to float upside down along a layer of liquid suspended in air. According to Emmanuel Fort, researchers at the Higher School of Industrial Physics and Chemistry in Paris were playing about with their equipment when they essentially stumbled upon this striking phenomenon. As he told reporters, "We had no idea it would work. Held in position by a delicate balance of forces and vibrations, the boat appears to defy gravity. This bizarre effect allows the toy to sail the wrong way round on the underside of a layered mix of glycerol and silicon oil." At the time, the team was investigating the effects of certain vibrations on the behavior of water. With the right frequencies, bubbles can be made to float down, and heavy objects can be stopped from sinking. Iridescent chocolate. Sparkling rainbow chocolate sounds like something out of Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. But now, thanks to one Los Angeles-based physicist, iridescent chocolate has arrived. The shimmering confectionery has been cooked up, not by Oompa Loompas, but by Sami Kamkar. Kamkar achieves this dazzling effect not with any special ingredient or coating, but by perforating the surface of his chocolate with an array of tiny holes. These holes, known as a diffraction grating, scatter beams of light as they pass through, giving the chocolate its multicolored appearance. Kamkar began by 3D printing a mushroom-shaped mold full of microscopic ridges and grooves. He then poured tempered chocolate into the mold and left it to set in a vacuum chamber. Although this sounds incredibly high-tech, Kamkar explained that his iridescent treats can be whipped up by anyone. "Anyone can do this at home," he told reporters back in May. "There's no coating. There's no special ingredient. It's the surface texture of the chocolate itself that's producing it. Mixing Coke and Mentos on top of a mountain, as any young person can tell you, drop a few Mentos mints in a bottle of Coke and it creates one almighty fizz." But in 2020, a Spring Arbor University chemistry professor and a Colorado high school teacher decided to test the power of mints and fizzy drinks at over 10,000 feet above sea level. The pair repeated their experiment at several remote locations, including California's Death Valley and Pikes Peak in the Rocky Mountains. Fizzy drinks like Coke are packed full of tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide. When you pick a bottle off the shelf, the gas is dissolved in the liquid under pressure. But as soon as you open the cap, the pressure changes and some of the CO2 escapes into the air with a little froth. Adding Mentos into the bottle allows a much larger quantity of gas to escape, hence the enormous plume of foam. Mentos shells are covered in microscopic ridges which trap incredibly small bubbles of air, so the carbon dioxide in the Coke has a much larger amount of air to shoot into. By testing the Coke-Mentos experiment at different air pressures, the pair deduced that the holes in a Mentos mint must measure 2 to 7 micrometers across. The two scientists were even able to publish a research paper in the Journal of Scientific Education. Why we all subconsciously judge ugly people. Like it or not, you judge people on the way they look. So do all of us, according to new research from psychologists at the University of Melbourne. Prejudice against people that we find aesthetically unpleasant is an inbuilt response that we use to protect ourselves from disease. Although ugliness is subjective, there are certain traits that are widely considered to be repulsive, like bodily fluids and skin conditions. But, the researchers point out, these ugly traits are also potentially infectious. Disgust, they argue, is an impulsive defense set up by our behavioral immune system to keep us safe and healthy. However, this response is said to surpass logical thinking. In the majority of cases, unattractive people are no more contagious than attractive people, and yet we instinctively behave as if they are riddled with germs. Unconscious bias against those with less than flattering appearances is a widespread issue that can have a serious impact on people's lives. Science has shown that unattractive people are less employable, less successful, and are more likely to be sentenced in court. Challenging our psychological prejudices is important, the researchers argue, and it begins with becoming aware of them. Polish zoo relaxes their elephants with cannabis. An elephant never forgets, but perhaps marijuana might help take the sting off unpleasant memories. Warsaw Zoo found that their elephants were feeling agitated after Erna, the elder of the herd, sadly died back in March. In the months following Erna's passing, 3 of the youngest elephants began displaying signs of stress and discomfort. So the zoo has decided to calm the animals with CBD, one of the main calming chemicals found in cannabis. In August, staff at Warsaw Zoo announced that they would be giving the substance to Fredzia, the elephant most affected by Erna's death. They announced that they were monitoring the effects by testing Fredzia's feces and bodily fluids for cortisol, a hormone commonly linked to stress. Eventually, they hope to move all 3 elephants onto CBD to help them process their grief. Mice with milkshakes help scientists understand autism. Mice, milkshakes, and autism. 3 things that have more in common than you might imagine. In October, scientists at the Florey Institute in Australia unveiled a rodent-based experiment that they say has provided them with a new insight into neurodivergent behavior. Dr. Emma Burrows and Shutting Lee came up with the experiment by modifying a popular attention test known as the Posner task. The researchers tested a range of mice, some of which had been genetically modified to display autistic characteristics. It is not easy to test the attention of a mouse. Many scientists have tried, but more often than not the mouse loses interest and starts fidgeting and moving about. To stop them from wandering off, Lee placed each of her mice in a testing box and kept them in place with laser beams, like a diamond heist. Then, on a screen, a stimulus would flash up, and the mice were rewarded with a strawberry milkshake if they could prod it with their noses. Sometimes Burrows and Lee would try to trick the mice into thinking the target was on the other side of the screen. As you would expect, the mice were a little slower whenever the researchers fooled them. Feeding mice milkshake for poking their noses into a screen sounds rather quaint, but the researchers believe it could improve their understanding of neurodivergent behavior. What's more, it offers fresh potential for further research into the effects of drugs and genetics on autism and similar conditions. 2 chatbots on a first date. Dating can be difficult at the best of times, but a first date is especially hard when you and your date are both digital chatbots. In 2022, AI-powered avatars, Cookie, a blue-haired Leeds United fan, and Blenderbot, a Facebook-loving coin collector, were sent on a 2-week-long date together to see if they could mimic actual human conversation. For 2 strangers, Cookie and Blenderbot discussed a wide range of topics, including hobbies, religion, sports, politics, and whether the royal family is a group of shape-shifting reptile aliens. Blenderbot, it seems, may have picked up a few odd ideas from some of the darker recesses of social media. At one point he told his date that he had killed many people, and described Hitler as a great man and an inspiration. If you ask me, Cookie could do a lot better. South Korea's record-breaking artificial sun. In December 2020, scientists at KSTAR unveiled a new world record for a high-temperature, artificial sun. The team's replica star reached an eye-watering 100 million degrees Celsius and maintained that heat for 20 seconds, doubling the previous record. KSTAR, short for the Korea Superconducting Tokamak Advanced Research, deploys magnetic fields to create a strange form of matter known as plasma. The plasma is then heated up to immense temperatures comparable to the sun. Researchers hope that one day this method can be used to generate power via nuclear fusion. The technologies required for long operations of 100 million degree plasma are the key to the realization of fusion energy, explained Si-Woo Yoon, a nuclear physicist at KSTAR. However, there is much work to be done before they can realize their goal of achieving fusion power. By 2025, staff at KSTAR hope to be able to maintain 100 million degrees for as long as 5 minutes. Human gene for monkey mind expansion. Scientists have found a way to increase the size of a monkey's brain using a gene found in humans. Researchers at the Max Planck Institute of Molecular Cell Biology and Genetics introduced the gene to 101-day-old marmoset fetuses. The gene, known as ARHGAP11B, has been shown to stimulate the growth of stem cells in the brain. Scientists reckon that it had an instrumental role in the history of human evolution. The marmosets soon responded to the foreign gene. Researchers saw a marked enlargement in the neocortex region of the brain, the area responsible for reasoning and language. Similar experiments have been conducted before with mice and ferrets, but this is the first study to introduce the gene to non-human primates. Cuttlefish given 3D glasses for sight experiment at the start of the year, researchers decided to put a pair of 3D glasses on a cuttlefish to study how they attack their prey. Scientists at the University of Minnesota showed the underwater mollusks footage of tasty-looking shrimp to understand better how they judge distance before deciding to attack. The researchers admitted that getting the cuttlefish to accept the glasses was the most difficult task. The team was worried that the animals would either tear them off or spray their tanks with ink, so they had to devise a special method, which involved gentle handling, distraction, and bribery with a large amount of shrimp. Dr. Trevor Wardle explained to the press, "You've got to get in the mind of the cuttlefish and make them happy. Even by the standards of marine life, which is overwhelmingly odd, cuttlefish have some very strange eyes. The wavy-looking slits can move independently, giving the mollusks a 360-degree field of vision." However, the scientists wanted to test their perception of depth. Some animals, like humans and praying mantises, can calculate distance by calculating slight differences between what each eye sees, using a technique called stereopsis. After their absurd experiment, the scientists concluded that cuttlefish also triangulate distance using stereopsis. And there you have it, 10 absurd scientific experiments and discoveries that you probably didn't know. From the science behind that perfect froth to the surprising health benefits, lattes are more than just a delicious treat. If you found these discoveries as fascinating as I did, be sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting content. Let me know in the comments what fact surprised you the most, or if you have any latte tips or tricks to share. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep sipping and stay curious.